Hey and welcome. So what's on the menu today? We're gonna make a fatty, a classic barbecue patty, but we're gonna put a new twist on it. We're gonna make a salsiccia patty. So I was trying to think of what to cook today. It's a real hot day. Then I realized I'm always a big fan of pork. I haven't done a fatty in a long time, and then I found salsiccia, ground salsiccia, which is basically the salsiccia sausage minus the casing. And then I figured, yes, we have a winner. So that's what we're gonna cook up today. Now, a classic barbecue fatty can be done in many ways. Typically it's beef, ground beef is what's being used, but I thought let's try pork instead. It's gonna work just as fine. This is really rich, lots of fat in it with a ton of flavor. The main flavor ingredient, I would say, is sage in this one. So I'm gonna keep this relatively simple because there's a lot of flavor in the salsiccia already. But we're gonna wrap it in bacon, of course, because everybody loves bacon. I'm gonna add some pickled pepperoncini, which is gonna add a bit of heat, and some cheese. Now, as for smoke flavor, I'm going to use oak wood. I cut these up this morning, cut some logs into splits, and then cut this with the saw. I'm going to leave the bark on because it's no big deal to me. It adds nice flavor, so it's just fine leaving it on. But let's get to prepping. We're going to roll up a nice salsiccia log, stuff it with flavors, and get that grill started. I'll monitor everything with my new Fireboard 2 thermometer. I really like it. I've been using it for quite some time now. The number one issue I have with it is there's no magnet or kickstand or anything. But except for that, it's really good. It's rocking. So get one if you haven't already, because it's rock solid. Now, in order to make a salsiccia fatty, you're going to need a few ingredients, and this is what I'm going to use today. We have some salsiccia, ground salsiccia. I have some ground cheese. We have the pickled pepperoncini, bacon, of course, and a good pork rub. That's all you need. But in order to get started, I put some saran wrap on this cutting board because that's really going to help. So first thing we're going to do is form a rectangle of the patty. We're going to do two of those, one on top and one at the bottom. This is going to be the bottom one, so you're just going to have to spread it out into a rectangle. You want it relatively thin because it's going to get thick when you roll it up anyway. And now that that's done, it's relatively thin. I was going to say a number 5 pencil, but slightly thicker. I'm going to add the pepperoncini. This is what it looks like, but I chopped it up, so I'm going to add this, get a bit of heat. It's going to be quite a bit of heat. Now I'm going to sprinkle on some rub, get that in there. Use any pork rub you like, or beef rub, whatever. You decide the flavor combination. Now we're going to add some cheese. Cheese is good. So now we have the bottom layer. Now I'm going to add the top layer. So I'm going to work this, get it real thin, just like the bottom, and then we're going to roll it up. So now we have the fatty done, and this is where the saran wrap comes into play, because now we're going to roll this like a sushi mat. roll a bit, tug it quite hard, and then pull it out and keep rolling. And tuck those ends in also. And finally we're gonna get some bacon on the outside. A lot of people do a bacon weave, but I'm too lazy, so I'm just gonna place it like that and then roll this back up, minus the saran wrap, of course. So this fat is done. Now handled with care because it breaks easily until we've cooked it. So I'm gonna use a big old spatula to pick this one up and move it over to the grill. Speaking of grill, let's get that fire started. Now, just to make this slightly easier to move and also not stick to the grates the first 5 minutes, I'm going to place it on some aluminum foil. Just like that. So now we're just waiting for the grill to come up to temp. I'm gonna aim for 130 Celsius to 140 Celsius. Doesn't need to be that low and slow because we have ground beef, well, ground pork in this case, so it doesn't need tenderizing, but we're gonna add some good smoke flavor. I have 4 chunks of oak wood, but I'm not gonna use all of them, most likely these 2. I think that should be enough because this cook is gonna take roughly an hour and a half, not much more than that. So relatively quick cook, which is nice because it's real hot outside and working the grill it doesn't make it better. So, but anyhow, let's get this up to temp and let's get that salsiccia fatty on the grates. All right, we're up to temp, so let's get the meat on the grates. Now, as you can see, I left some space for the wood chunks. That's why I didn't pile it all the way up, because I want to have some room between the grates and the charcoal bed. And of course, as always, when doing low and slow cook, you have to light only a few briquettes, not all of them, and that means you can control temp in a completely different manner than most people do when they set everything on fire. So I like this because now I'm in control and not the grill, and that's the way it should be. So we're gonna add the 2 wood chunks, and I left plenty of room for them to fit in here. These are gonna catch fire and bring the temp up. Now we're gonna get that salsiccia on. That's a heavy load of meat. Pure deliciousness if you ask me. So just realized I didn't put any rub on top, so I'm just going to sprinkle some on right before we close the lid. Can't get enough of good rub. Now that's looking good. I get the probe in dead center roughly, and the lid. See all that smoky goodness coming out the top vent. Now begins the hardest part of just waiting for this to be done, but it's gonna taste real good. All right, so this has been 1.5 hour cook. Are you guys ready to see some meatloaf? Oh man, check out that bark. The crispy bacon, the cheese. This is gonna be good. Oh man, look at that goodness. I just transferred it to a tray. So once again, 1.5 hour cook, 65 degrees Celsius. I'm gonna slice this baby up and see what's inside. Oh man, that's looking good. All juicy, all of that melted cheese and the pickled pepperoncini. See if I can make some slices out of this. Cut off the end and try that. So let's see what this is all about. I think I aced it, folks. That salty bacon, the salsiccia, ground pork, the pepperoncini, the melted cheese. Wow. Oh man, this is superb. This is really good. I'm thinking I'm gonna keep it really simple because it's so hot outside. So I'm just gonna add some cubed up watermelon because it's so hot. I think this should be a good addition. It's gonna go well with the heat from the pepperoncini, and also I did roast some pumpkin seeds. I roasted them and added some salt again, so I think this should be a good complement for the watermelon. Alright, that was a fun cook. If you've done quite a few barbecue patties and you want to try something new, then get that salsiccia. If you like this video, give me some thumbs up and remember to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. It's real hot, so I'm fixing to head on over to the lake for a swim because I need to cool off. Thanks for watching.